Yo, what's up, listeners? Welcome to your deep dive.
All right.
Today, we're going deep on this interview with Miss Lawrence, the stylist, reality TV star, and actor.
Yes.
You know, you sent over this YouTube interview with Carlos King, and trust me, this thing is packed.
It is.
We're going to break down their journey, Atlanta scene, the whole 9 yards.
I'm excited. Let's go.
So, right off the bat, I think what's interesting is how they connect their personal experiences to these bigger shifts in culture.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, within the Black community and for LGBTQ plus folks.
Absolutely.
This isn't just some celebrity spilling tea.
Oh, it's much deeper than that.
It's deeper than that.
That's a cultural commentary,
Yeah.
you know.
So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
With their early life, turns out they were always a performer, killing it in sports. But drawn to the sidelines with the cheerleaders.
That's interesting.
Sounds familiar, right?
Right. And the family pushed for more traditional stuff.
Like go be a doctor or a lawyer.
Exactly. But that artistry always came through, you know, that tension between like what's expected and who you are. I think that's major, especially in communities where being yourself isn't always easy.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of communities, they talk about Atlanta being this magical place.
Yes.
Where Black success is like celebrated. Yeah. They even say it's a legacy of the civil rights movement.
Wow.
And they thrived there, you know, finding community and acceptance way before it was trendy.
That's a perspective you don't always hear.
Right.
Right? It challenges like the basic story of Atlanta.
Right.
And gives us a more complex look at the city, you know, linking those past struggles to what's happening today.
Right. I'm with you. Now let's get into the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yes.
How did they even get on the show?
Okay, so this is kind of wild.
Yeah.
They were just doing Cherie's hair.
Really?
A casual invite, no idea blow up like this. And we hear about those early days barely getting paid.
Right.
And how they had to like learn the business side of reality TV, which is a whole other game.
Yeah, a whole nother beast. So what's the takeaway there for someone listening? Who's maybe trying to break into, you know, a tough industry?
I think it shows you got to be savvy. Like, talent is one thing.
Right.
But understanding contracts, your worth, that's key. Especially if you're from a group that often gets overlooked.
Yeah.
You know? And they learn to play the game, even when the rules weren't fair.
Right. Okay, so we're seeing this theme of resilience early on.
Definitely.
But things get real deep when they talk about, like, specific events on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Like that altercation with Kenya Moore's friend Brandon.
Oh, right.
You know, they were disappointed in some of the cast's reaction.
Right.
And it sparks this whole conversation about being an ally versus an accomplice.
Yeah.
Which...
That's a crucial distinction.
It is.
Like, a lot of folks, you know, talk the talk. But they're pushing for action. They're saying, if you have power, you got to use it to protect people, not just look good.
Real talk.
Real talk.
And you know, this is where it gets juicy.
Oh, tell me more. Tell me more.
They talk about their role on the show, how they were behind some of the most iconic reads and moments, like coaching the housewives on how to deliver shade with style.
Oh, my gosh.
Remember Kenya Moore's fan?
Yes.
That was their idea.
I love that.
Come on.
See, that's the influence that often gets missed. They brought this wit and strategy from ballroom culture to mainstream TV, adding a whole new layer to the Housewives drama.
And you know they brought the fashion.
Oh, of course.
I mean, come on, the looks alone.
Exactly.
So then there's Fashion Queens.
Yeah.
The show that was killing it.
Yes.
But got canceled.
I know.
We hear hints of shady stuff behind the scenes.
Right.
Which sadly, you know, happens a lot in this industry.
Unfortunately.
But then, boom. Lee Daniels, a fan of their work, becomes a mentor.
Wow.
And opens doors to acting.
Oh, it's amazing.
Wait, hold up. So from styling hair to the big screen.
Right.
That's a wild jump.
It shows that your skills can translate, even to fields that seem totally different. Their eye for detail, the performance aspect of styling, it all came together.
Right.
This is where opportunity meets being ready.
It does.
You know?
I'm with you.
And speaking of being ready, they didn't just walk onto those sets unprepared.
Right.
They talk about the deliverance, this Netflix hit. You know, they're in working with icons like Glenn Close.
Wow.
They even taught her the Black version of Happy Birthday.
Hold up. Wait. They taught Glenn Close the black version of Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
Man, that's a story right there.
Yeah.
What else did they say about working with these legends?
Well, it's interesting. They talk about how they prepped for this dice-playing role with the same focus they used to style hair. Like, they went all in, studying techniques, making it authentic. And it's that dedication that earned respect from those seasoned actors.
They're not just riding the wave. They're putting in the work. But let's get back to the Housewives. They didn't hold back about how things have changed, right?
Not at all. They seem kind of disillusioned, saying the focus is on individual stardom now, not the group dynamic.
Yeah.
They actually said everybody in their own right became stars. Somehow, the powers that be gave a lot of the girls this false sense of entitlement that some of them could dictate who gets to be what and do what. I think that's where it fell short.
Yeah, like everyone's trying to run their own show instead of building something together.
Yeah.
What's the impact of that, though? For the viewers, I mean.
Think about those early seasons. The messiness, the real friendships, that's what hooked people. Now it's all about image control, calculated drama. It feels less authentic, less relatable.
Right. And you know what they said? They were offered a peach, a full-time spot on the show.
Yeah, it's almost hard to believe given how central they were to the whole vibe. But they were told the network wasn't ready for that.
Man, that's messed up. You're telling me they brought all that talent, those iconic moments, and still hit a ceiling.
It's a harsh reminder that even in spaces where diversity is supposedly celebrated, there are still limitations, especially for LGBTQ+ folks.
Right.
They actually said, you ain't never giving me no peach. I ain't getting that one of the most $1 million paychecks, that y'all give the girls. I knew y'all weren't going to give me that expletive. So I'm like, well, honey, I'm going to take these $5 y'all done gave me thus far, and I'm going to go on and make it do what it do.
Damn. So what do you do when you hit that wall? How do you keep going?
Well, look what they did. They bounced back, had that run on Fashion Queens, even though that got canceled too.
Right.
And they mentioned shady dealings there, which is a whole other conversation.
Let's not even get into that. But then that connection with Lee Daniels, that's where things shift. It's like mentorship on another level.
Right. Daniel saw the potential, gave them those roles in Empire Star, and now The Deliverance, they're killing it on Netflix, top of the charts.
That's what I'm talking about, resilience. So they worked with Glenn Close, had that whole Housewives journey. Yeah. But let's talk about Lee Daniels. What was it like working with him?
Well, they talk about him being a demanding director, but in a good way. He pushes his actors to bring their A game.
I can respect that. So how did they handle that pressure?
They rose to the challenge. Remember that banana scene in The United States versus Billie Holiday, also directed by Daniels? Well, they had to eat that banana with a sense of urgency.
Really?
They talk about trusting the director, committing fully, even if it doesn't make the final cut.
See, that's the difference.
Yeah.
It's not about the ego. It's about the craft.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes you think about those Housewives dynamics in a new light.
It does. They've actually contrast the two worlds working with Hollywood vets versus the reality TV scene. They talk about humility, shared commitment, which isn't always present in that other environment.
Facts. And before we move on, got to ask any tea on Kenya Moore's situation with the show.
They always loyal say Kenya's doing well, likely on to bigger things.
Good for her.
It makes you think maybe change is good, even when it's unexpected.
Growth, baby.
Yeah.
All right, so we've covered Atlanta Hollywood, those career highs and lows, but there's one more piece to this. We talked about the career, the hustle, but what about them as a person? Throughout this interview, we see how they navigated these spaces that weren't always welcoming, pushing those boundaries. Yeah. There's this powerful moment where they talk about finding strength in their love for Black women, and it's deeper than romance. It's about connection support.
It is. It speaks to chosen family, finding your tribe where you might not expect it. And it reminds us that building those bridges, understanding each other's experiences, that's crucial.
Absolutely. And they get real honest about the mental and emotional toll it all takes. The weight of expectations trying to fit in when society's telling you you shouldn't. That's deep, man.
It is, and it's relatable, right? We see this person who's successful killing it in these industries, but they still face those internal struggles. It reminds us that nobody's immune to that.
Right. Even when you're serving looks and dropping wisdom on the Housewives. But they also talk about faith, how it's helped them through the ups and downs.
That spirituality adds another dimension. It shows the power of belief, that inner strength to overcome challenges. And it connects to that theme of resilience we've been talking about.
Facts.
Yeah.
But here's what gets me. They didn't let those tough times break them. They used those experiences to create, to inspire, to lift other people up.
Exactly. They turn those struggles into fuel. It's like they're saying, yeah, I went through it, but I'm going to use this to help others. That's powerful.
And they're still rooted in community. We see it in that loyalty to Kenya Moore, the mentoring they do, staying connected to Atlanta, which they call the heart of Black excellence.
It's that idea that success isn't just about you, it's about giving back, making space for others to shine. That's something we can all learn from.
So look, we went deep on this interview, but it all comes back to this. Their story shows us what resilience looks like, what it means to be authentic, to use your voice to challenge the norms. They made their own path on their own terms.
And what stands out to me is that commitment to community, uplifting others, whether it's championing Black excellence, advocating for LGBTQ+ rights, or just being there for someone who needs it. Think about that, listeners. How can we do the same in our own lives?
That's your deep dive. We just scratched the surface, but hopefully you got a better sense of this incredible journey. Now it's over to you. What hit you the most? What are you still thinking about? Keep exploring, y'all. Peace out.